What is up? Welcome to an NGD Rewind Theater where we comb through a trailer with a fine-tooth lore comb and try and tease out some details for you and see what implications we might be able to come up with from some new footage. This time around, you guessed it, it is a new Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree story trailer this time around, and it runs a whopping 3 minutes and 13 seconds. It's an ominous one, and there's lots of amazing imagery here. So let's wind it back and get into it. But first, I am here with my fellow Elden Ring nerd, Jacob Jones, aka OM Jesus. Say what up, dude. How's it going?
Hello, fellow tarnished. Are you ready to look at weird walls of flesh?
Someone must extinguish thy flame.
Together.
Yes, I'm so, that's my favorite quote in all of Elden Ring. Now we can devour the gods together.
That is a meme on Reddit. People are always just saying together in the comments, which is really funny.
Exactly. It's a good day. I woke up today, and FromSoft was just like, "Hey, by the way, do you want to like change your entire pace of your day and just get really into Elden Ring shit again?" Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah,
so
are we ready to start like our 15th alt? Probably this time.
Seriously,
I'm going all fist weapons, or I'm gonna go intelligence and faith, so I can use the sword of night and flame, or whatever the fuck, blood and what
that
is it
is
called?
like one of the most unique builds, but so annoying at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, night and flame. I think you killed it. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just means you have like garbage weapons until you get through like Liurnia and through the Carrion Manor.
Hey, I could cast spells.
That's true. That's true.
This is my spell casting hand. I don't like. I have swords and stuff, but I don't want to get up because I'm wearing my my little pants, my house pants. My house shorts, and they don't match the top half. You know what I mean? It's not. It's butt-ass naked. It's not naked. Together. I'm like a wretch over here.
Oh yeah, we start out as wretches, we all do. But yeah, so it's been a good day. I'm like, so on the one hand, like my mind is like, I'm so excited because I'm gonna play some Hellblade after this, but at the same time, this trailer had me almost abandoning that idea and just be like, let's go play some more Elden Ring.
I know, dude.
But I'm not gonna do it. We'll do that later this week.
Sweet.
So yeah, first and foremost, for those who haven't seen it, we're gonna watch this trailer in full, uncut. We'll, maybe we'll talk a little over it, but we're just gonna check it out in its full sexy self, and then we'll get into the breakdown. So watch the trailer with us, and then stick around, and we'll get into it.
Okay, are we ready to hit play? We are. Let's hit play now.
Yeah.
Whoa! I'm gonna turn it down just a tad.
It's the same exact little treatment they had from the first trailer, which is cool.
Miquella the Kind spoke of the beginning.
Gross.
The seduction and the betrayal.
Ugh. Is there a fist in there? Or is she grabbing something?
She's grabbing something.
I think so too.
An affair from which gold arose.
The music, man. Ugh.
Oh yeah. It's reeling us back in, man.
Shadow born.
Gross.
What followed was a war unseen.
Those things are so big.
One that could never
Sins of war. Dead Omen.
A purge without grace or honor.
Fire snakes.
The tyranny of Messmer's flame.
Get snaked. That thing.
So cool.
It's like the Chinese dragon thing.
The hands
right?
opening its mouth. It's so cool.
Fucking cool. Okay, yeah, those do look like omens.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that like the first 5 times I watched it.
What a shot.
Yeah. You see how like the castle's kind of melting up? That's kind of interesting.
It's kind of Farah Mazula-esque.
To some degree, yeah.
And so kindly Miquella would abandon everything
I love the way the trailer shifts tone at this point.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's hopeful now.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna go to those sites of sleep,
Golden flesh.
sites of
His blinding strength.
Nicola?
Yeah, sights of Nicola Rune.
Yeah.
Even his fate.
Dope.
See, that shot is really interesting to me. What the fuck happened to him?
But we are not deterred.
Cool.
That's so sick.
We choose to follow.
See, one of those tarnished could be us, dude.
It will be.
Walk with us.
There's the cool monk dude who was doing the flips in the last trailer.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I feel the power of the shadow.
Yeah.
621. Ah, man.
One
that is
month-
like
1 month
literally,
away.
yeah, 30 days away. Super quick rewind on my end. Someone posted this picture on Reddit and said, "Go. Some gamers just need to go out and touch grace." And I thought that was really funny.
Excellent. Hell yeah. That's
Cool.
That's
There you go.
fantastic.
All right, I'm swapping over to you now.
What a trailer, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
Yeah, excellent.
It's so moody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like how I feel right now, like just a bit moody.
Just a bit moody.
The seduction.
That's probably a little loud. Let's just kill the volume.
Yeah, I was trying.
So
to get down
first
to
off, First off, we have these strands that First of all, there's this very kind of wombish vaginal shaped thing.
Oh,
over
yeah.
here, what's going on with a bit of a baby head feeling kind of vibe. So much so that this almost like I have a theory. Just to start it right off the bat, I think that there might be some godskin thing going on here.
Okay. Yeah, because there's like almost like a cloth happening there.
Yeah, there's
what I mean?
There is a cloth thing and one here. I'll jump to it in a little bit, but I have an image that kind of mimics this a little bit, and it is weird that America would potentially pull strands from that sort of thing. It's kind of odd for sure. But anyways, that's just something I'll get into later in this trailer.
What is it?
But one thing to focus on here, and you can see my mouse, right? Okay, great.
Yeah, I could see it.
One thing to focus on here is, and something that I have never noticed about America until this very trailer, is that she's got this cuff on. That's a snake, right? Which is interesting because we obviously know that in the current timeline, snakes are representative of a blasphemy to the Golden Order in the kind of modern canon of the Golden Order. So I'm gonna jump over to do.
That's interesting.
I realized that in this image you can see that same snake bangle, which this image is old. This is but it is noted here that this is the image of America in which she is kind of mounted by this kind of crucible thing behind her.
Yeah, it's kind of like it evokes like a crucifixion to some degree. Yeah, right.
But then there's kind of two versions of the crucifixion that America has. One of which is her crucified on the actual arc of the Elden Ring, like the rune of the Elden Ring. And then this is seemingly like this is the one that's in the statue that turns into Radagon. By the way, full spoilers for Elden Ring. If you didn't already get that, if you're watching a Rewind Theater, probably you know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a quick disclaimer at the beginning. Don't you worry.
That's a good call.
We're gonna spoil Elden Ring, so
right after
beat that game first.
The intro.
Yeah.
Yes. But in the statue that the sculptor carved with the secret Radagon statue behind it, when you do the praise the sun thing or whatever, it is this one of America, which is kind of like she's enveloped. I don't have a better image of it than this one, sorry. But she's kind of enveloped in the back, or kind of like the background of it is this kind of tree-like, root-like, but almost kind of omen-y like also, like kind of snake-like structure that's kind of holding her up.
Okay.
As opposed to the later one where she's like strung up within the tree by the actual arc of the Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Where that's when she's impaled by the spear. Anyways, I just found it interesting that I've never noticed these snakes before.
Me either.
And
I
so
mean,
that
are they really snakes? I mean, it seems that way, right?
it feels that way.
In
But
context.
the way I think about that is that
It's like a coiling bangle.
in the age of the Crucible, these snakes maybe or in the time before this whole mesmer business, snakes may have not been blasphemous, and they may have been a symbol of the Crucible or a symbol of the Great Tree, or what came before. And then when the Golden Order takes over and whatever we see happen in this trailer, the big battles and stuff, and the blasphemy of Mesmer, maybe that's what inspires the snake being a negative symbol. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's just something
Makes
interesting.
sense.
So she pulls these threads that seem to she ascends these stairs of like viscera and blood. I don't think this is rot. I think this is something else. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, it makes me think of, the blasphemous blade and that whole
that's true.
situation.
Blood stuff. And
what's his name again? That boss, the snake boss, the serpent guy.
Rykard, yeah.
Rykard. This whole little area does remind me of Rykard, because Rykard's arena is covered in the same type of material. If you think about it.
Yes, it very much is. That's a good point. I didn't really put those two together.
Now we do have the snake connection with the bangle, right? Mesmer has a lot of snake stuff. And he's like a secret agent for Marika that's hidden in a land of shadow, which we'll get into in a sec. And they are saying Rykard is doing blasphemous shit by doing the same stuff. And also, isn't there like a flame attribute to the blood to that blade, the blasphemous blade?
There is. It's like it's got. If I remember it, there's like the blood flame type of stuff that's like more of the formless mother, but there is like the briar magic, and that kind of has to. I don't know. Yeah, there's something there for sure.
Yeah. The weapon skill is Taker's Flames, and you hit the ground and it shoots like this fire. So we already have that snake connection. We have the viscera connection and the flame connection. So it's almost like Rykard is like inheriting something from Mesmer, maybe, possibly. Just a thought.
Very interesting. Yeah, no, absolutely. So yes, totally. So then we have here her kind of pulling these threads, and it feels like she's got these kind of two sides of this big structure next to her, which I think is one of two things, and we'll see it better in a second. Also, I just really quickly while we're here, it's interesting that you can see this is the ocean in the background here, and kind of the sunrise happening like that. So keep going. This is just a fucking epic shot.
It is, but there is something I do want to mention about this. But go ahead.
Sure. So a couple of things about this shot. First of all, just kind of symbolically, right? The foreground of this image is dark and mysterious. It's kind of the unknown. It's got like this sort of this kind of the void feeling, right?
Yeah, it's like purplish clouds, right?
Yeah, and part of the purplish in the clouds that's interesting is it for me it kind of it evokes the glomai, or the gloam, or the sleep stuff, which is also the glomai.
Oh, like the Saint Trina stuff, yeah.
There's the Trina stuff, but then there's also the Glomide Queen, who was the apparently the matron to the Godskin apostles and that whole thing.
Okay.
And she's the one who's hunting gods, right, type of thing. And so, when we see Marika's hand reach into that cloth and like the potential baby that was inside and pull the strands out,
okay,
maybe there's something to do with this Glomide thing here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But we can get more into that later. But but then this big structure, I think is either a representation of the Crucible itself, or potentially the roots of the Great Tree, right? Because there are two great trees. There's the Erdtree. Obviously, later there's the Haligtree. But originally, before the Erdtree, there was this Great Tree, which is a kind of representation of the Crucible. I think that might be what we're seeing here, the roots of that.
Okay. So
yeah.
interesting take, and you probably are right, and I'll explain why. But interesting alternate thoughts from this guy.
Totally.
So to me, what I see, the structure is actually two massive gates opening.
Yeah.
Right. The the golden ocean sky that we're seeing these gates opening to are the lands between, right? And the golden order kind of coming to that area, right? And what's the golden area in Elden Ring?
Landell.
Okay.
Or the capital. Yeah, the
right?
capital.
And but inside you see the kind of more shadowy area with the clouds and the purple. So to me, it almost seems like this is the birth of the Erdtree, because like the Erdtree kind of opens similarly to this, right? And almost like inside the Erdtree, the shadow realm's being born, but outside of the Erdtree is the lands between. So that's kind of what I see personally.
I think in some ways those could kind of coexist as sort of the same thing. Like she's building the Erdtree out of the Great Trees, depths or whatever.
That's exactly what that was the connection I was going to make. So that's a really interesting thought that we both have.
There you go. I know, it's crazy. I mean, because we know that or at least it's speculated that the Erdtree is kind of a parasitic entity. So it makes sense that it would kind of latch onto this Great Tree as its kind of vestige. So an interesting thing about those strings, right? The golden strings that she's holding. It appears to be on Radigan's hammer. Something kind of similar. I mean, maybe it's not the same thing, but but you see, see these kind of wispy things, and you can see it when he strikes the Elden Ring, when he's trying to mend it. Again, so this idea of like a mending rune, you can see like kind of essences of it here too. These kind of strings that are kind of coming across, and even here, there's like a little bit of
you can see it kind of going up.
Yeah, and this is actually America, and then this is in that one scene where it switches between America and Radagon, like
which is hilarious because didn't notice that until after beating the game and stuff.
Yeah, of course, no one did. Everyone's like, just like it's
and then smart.
This is and then this I don't actually really think, but it's just something to speculate. The Elden Beast has some kind of stringy looking gold shit within it. This is just a picture of its hand. I don't know.
That's kind of a stretch, but I do think you're onto something though, that like those strands are the Elden Ring itself, essentially. Like the materials to make the Elden Ring. And the Elden Ring is like all tied up into the Golden Order and all this stuff, right?
The Greater Will.
The Greater Will specifically, which is also the Elden Beast. It's kind of all the same.
Another big jump, and again, there's other explanations for this, but I just found this was interesting. I went back and looked at all of the like OG material for Elden Ring, like before release even and stuff like that. And this is from the very first trailer that ever came out from Elden Ring. And if you can see, I want to make sure you can see this on your
our home across the fog, the lands between. Yeah, I can sort of see at the top.
So barely. Hold on. So barely on the left hand side. If you see where my mouse is, you can see.
Can't see your mouse at all.
You can't see my mouse.
Your mouse is gone.
Really?
It disappeared.
Okay. So just look up in the far left corner of this. Image. Do you see how there's kind of those strings in the corner? Just barely. Like in the far left corner, you can kind of see it when it plays through better, but
not really. But I mean, there's like strands are coming off the Erdtree and just kind of they're kind of everywhere.
And,
right.
And it might be that baldachin, the veil that we see in the previous gameplay trailer. But I just noticed that there's, watching through, I was like, whoa, there's kind of like golden strings coming off of the Erdtree in places. So it was just, just something interesting. And that kind of just backs up what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's clearly all related, that's just sort of the raw materials of the Greater Will, almost.
Yes, exactly. So let me go back to the trailer. And
All right.
yeah, so that's a pretty amazing scene right there. I mean, this whether it, whatever it ends up being, it's a pretty amazing piece of imagery. Also,
Mhm.
another thing about these bodies is they're not like moving, so
No.
it evokes for me like the catacombs when you go to the bottom of the Erdtree catacombs and there's
Yeah.
all those bodies that are like getting Erdtree burialed.
Yep.
Um,
Only
so
that
it's
they're
a
like fresh.
yeah, they are fresh.
You
So it
know,
just seems like maybe something similar process going on
they
here.
could almost be like a full on sacrifice rather than being buried.
Totally.
You know.
So then we jump into this war, right?
Hmm.
And you have these things. I forget what they're called exactly. The sin. I think they're called the sins of war. Yeah. And
Okay.
here we go. I'm just going to show you because obviously Miyazaki loves everything Berserk, and so here we have
Oh yeah.
from Berserk.
Nice.
These guys, and you can see all if you look closely. These are all like dead souls burning inside, and same thing here. So
That's sick.
it's pretty sick.
That's
Obviously,
dope.
some differences, but you can see he takes a lot of influence there.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
so that's
That
fun.
thing's gonna be hard to fight.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to fight one. Hopefully, we just fight one and not six like we see in this.
I
In
think
this.
there's one. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a boss.
It's gonna be a boss. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, so again, this is pretty amazing. Reminds me of the scenes that we see in the older trailers of the Shattering War. Big scale, lots of soldiers, which we haven't really
Mhm.
seen like organized soldiers like this before, which is interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
One thing about these
Sorta.
guys, yeah, they're all carrying pikes.
Mhm.
So similar, his Mesmer the Impaler is his
Yeah.
name.
Mhm.
So just that motif.
Yep.
An interesting thing about his flame, which is really cool, is it takes this kind of like wispy dragony shape.
Mhm.
You can see these flames wisping down. They're like snakes, but
Yeah.
it looks like as if he's controlling that in some way.
Mhm. He's got his hand out. Yeah, and he's got a lot of snake shit coming off of him.
Yeah,
So
a couple of
yeah, it
snakes
all makes
intertwined.
sense.
But yeah, those they're cool. They look like dragons, but obviously like more like Chinese dragons.
Yeah, yeah.
So here we go. This is where my
Now,
glow
who
mine
is
queen.
this?
This is where my glow mine
Who
queen
are
theory
you?
fully
Who the
comes
fuck
into
are
play.
you?
So
Mm.
so again, we see America reach into this cloth sack that looks like it has a baby inside of it, like a baby's head inside of it in the
Reach into
beginning.
my sack.
And pull out these golden strands. Here is, this giant conquest and this war that's happening, right? Of Mesmer against this older culture, right? Of like the Crucible, the Omen. He's fighting against those big dragon lion dudes, and you can see stabbed omens and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think here, you can see this woman is cradling something right here.
Uh-huh.
She's not just in agony. At first I thought she was holding a spear, and there is kind of a spear in the background, but I think this is actually a piece of cloth of kind of like a baby's wrap. And so here, just to show some real quick
So you think this
imagery.
is related to the Godskin stuff?
I think this is the Glowmide Queen, yes, and I think that she was out to get some gods. And here we go. On the left side here, you can see the Godskin swaddling cloth. Sacred cloth of the Godskin apostles made from supple skins sewn together. And then it says down below, the Glowmide Queen cradles newborn apostles swaddled in this cloth. Soon they will grow to become the death of the gods. Over here on the right, it says the apostles were embraced by the Glowmide Queen, and the black flame was their armor within. So it's just an interesting idea. This is an artist's rendering that was for for a Smoketown video, I think. But you can see kind of a representation of that Godskin cloth with the baby inside.
Yeah, so
Obviously,
if what you're saying is true, then like the whole Godskin, like, society had existed before the Erdtree, which
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not exactly certain why that would be.
Well, the only thing is that you like in the lore of Elden Ring as it stands right now, like we don't really know when the Glowmide Queen existed, or like when, the Godskins are obviously fully grown when we meet them. And there's multiple of them, and we know that they came to slay the gods, right? But we don't. And there's speculation too that maybe the Glowmide Queen, because Melina can transform into her at the end on one of the endings of Elden Ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, chaos.
But was she potentially the Glowmide Queen beforehand? And she has that whole quote about her mother giving her, or she was born at the foot of the Erdtree. Was that born out of the death of the Glowmide Queen? You know what I mean? Like there's like some some birth and
this
death
is
stuff.
some deep speculation. Interesting if true.
Yep.
I feel like the age of the Elden Ring was full of gods, so to me it makes more sense for the Glowmide Queen to show up then, because there's a lot of gods to kill. Whereas during this age, Marika is trying to become like a god, right?
A god, yeah.
Yeah.
So my only question there is there a purpose to slay like these outer gods more of the like the greater will and the blood flame god, the god that's in the eye of the giant, those types of things, like the more like ethereal gods, maybe so, but maybe not also.
Perhaps.
But yes, this is some pretty far-fetched speculation.
But I mean, the fact remains that there is a lady there and she's holding something. So it's like it's all good speculation.
I couldn't find a high-def image of this, but this was one of the first. This is the first time we ever saw the Godskin Apostle. This is some concept art for the game. And sorry, I'm just jumping around between windows here. In this this image that we see of her, I don't know, the cloak, and then my original idea of this spear being a spear right here just kind of looked like evocative of that first image. It's there's just a lot of similarities in a lot of this imagery, so it could, it's all pretty speculative.
Could be. I personally think that this lady right here is someone we'll learn about in the DLC. Personally,
that's true. There's the other thing is that there's like a total chance that there's just a lot of new characters, and we
guaranteed is a lot of new characters, guaranteed.
Yep.
But
yes,
that doesn't void your theory, of course.
The big thing was when I realized she was cradling something as opposed to holding a spear. That's what kind of sprung that whole thing for me.
Yeah.
So anyways,
of course,
let's keep going. This is another beautiful shot. So then here's these guys. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. We saw them in the last trailer,
boss.
but just the like you can see here the hands holding the mouth open and snapping it shut. It's just it's a cool imagery,
Yeah, there's clearly something in there controlling it.
All the omen horns here and stuff. And in an interview, Miyazaki said that these guys were like representations of the culture before, of the lands of shadow and all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. And here's Mesmer, mean motherfucker.
That flame is so cool.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that this flame is his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's all those different types of flame in Elden Ring, and I just
It could be the Taker's flame. You know what I mean? Because Taker's flames is like not technically like a type of flame. It's just a specific skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe that's like a new type of technical flame. But I'm not exactly sure on that. I mean, that's...
Yeah, me neither. And then the other idea too, and we'll talk about this more once we get Miquella in this trailer, but the idea that Miquella kind of, he tried to make the Haligtree as an alternate for the Erdtree, and he abandoned Erdtree fundamentalism when it couldn't help his sister Melania and cure her rot, and so he tried to figure out his own means of doing that and kind of abandon that religion, right? And so I think maybe in some ways, maybe he wants to burn the Erdtree down, and maybe he's looking for someone who has the power to do that, like Mesmer. And so maybe there's something there. But this is an amazing shot. You can see 3 of those lion guys impaled, and Mesmer earning his name as the Impaler.
Well, I mean, are those not omens? And then the tail on them is just like their cape or whatever? Because that's what I see.
I do see that. I thought they were the lion dudes.
Yeah, no, because the lion dudes
which are also omens.
the lion dudes were working for Mesmer.
No,
No?
I don't think so. See,
don't
you
think
can
so?
see in this shot right here.
They're fighting the other guys?
It
Oh, okay.
fights his shoulder. That's his soldier.
Oh, so
with the
maybe.
pike right there.
Yeah, because a lot of people
And then-
on the Reddit were saying like the impaled were omens, but you're also saying omens might be controlling them, so I guess it's all true.
Yeah, I think they're omens. I mean, their gray skin looks very similar to Morgoth and Moog's in the previous trailer. We see their feet even look pretty similar. But you can see here, like, he just swatted that soldier out of the way, and then he's coming at another one like that. I think that, and then he's about to attack Mesmer here. You see the jaws are, and
I see.
Let's see if I can do that. So I do think they're fighting against.
Yeah, no, you are right. Cool.
Mesmer.
Well, if you're also not paying attention like me, then you know what I'm saying. Now you know.
Now you know. That's why we're rewinding. But yeah, so this shot is epic, and obviously, holy shit, Mesmer's a lot of destruction going on here. And then, like you said, we have the kind of the sort of crumbling.
It's kind of like melting up, sort of in a way. And like, there's this theory that the Land of Shadow is actually like at the top of the Erdtree. So like this is the canopy of the Erdtree, and then the Land of Shadow actually expands upward, upside down, above the Erdtree, which I don't think is the case. Like, I think it's an interesting idea. But what is fascinating about that is what you notice is that the castles and stuff from the flames are like melting upward. So
upwards
if
or
people were
downwards,
right, it'd be going downwards. And then also there's the connection with the carrion hourglass thing where like stuff gets flipped upside down, and clearly like the guy that's pictured on that artifact was in the previous trailer, so there's a possibility of upside downery happening.
That's true. Yes, I remember us focusing on that at one point.
So who knows? Could be ridiculous. I think it's earlier.
Yeah, I think
in the
so
trailer.
Too. I was gonna see if I
but yeah. So like, there's that possibility. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think watching these two trailers back to back could be fun, which I didn't do.
That's true. I looked through the old one to see if I could glean some more stuff. There's definitely some things. The other thing this is evocative of is obviously the crumbling Fair Missoula, and then also when the meteor crashes down after you fight Radon. And it crashes into Limgrave into the forest over there. The rocks from that are drifting upwards. And there's something about that where maybe it's like time is kind of a thing with that, right? Like there's something about the stars being set in motion and fate, and then even with Fair Missoula, the idea of like maybe that place is a land out of time. You know what I mean? Because you go into the storm and you 100%. Set time in reverse.
That's confirmed.
Yeah. So like maybe there's an element of the veil of the Baltican that's covering the Shadowlands, having something to do with time. Also, who knows? Because there is something weird. I mean, we have no idea, right? This is going to be total speculation, but there's something weird about the fact that like we are coming to this land, and like, is this all the same type of? Did this all happen way before? Is it happening?
Yeah, you're wondering if
slowly
we're going back in time.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think so. But maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. That's all. Yeah.
Could
maybe.
be.
Are we seeing?
We could be going into Miquella's dream, so not even the real place. So it's like not even like we're going back in time. It's like we're going to just essentially a dream dimension that's like an echo of the past. That's a possibility too.
It absolutely is, and there's something to be said about that from a particular image that comes in a second. So here the trailer flips now, and where it's like more like Miquella energy. It says so Miquella abandoned everything, and then here we go, and we get this beautiful shot of.
I think this is going to be the starting zone.
Totally,
like
it feels.
Fields.
And it feels. Why am I messing it up? Landell-ish, just because of the color. But I think it's probably its own its own space. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, if you do look at it and you compare it with what I was saying earlier, how with the opening of the structure, it is the same color. So
Yeah,
it could all
totally.
be in the Land of Shadow, you know?
It's true.
Mhm.
These are beautiful. Like this
Yeah,
scene,
that's a
just in
cool shot.
general, just the mist and the swampiness, and then like the ruins in the background. It's just a
Mhm.
really pretty
Yeah,
shot.
and that scenario is shown in the first trailer too that we got.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I do remember it being
Yeah, and then,
um,
Mikola has some nice hair,
absolutely.
flowy.
I'm not having an easy time finding it, but maybe like here, maybe
It's
like here,
sorta,
like
yeah, something like that.
this
Yeah.
kind of
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
I can't exactly
Um,
remember, but go back and watch that original
I guess
trailer. Actually, right
I guess
there,
here
maybe.
too.
Yeah.
This kind of feels
Yeah.
similar to it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's some cool stuff. And then this being, we kind of figured out through, there's an emote that you get if you get the deluxe edition, and it's called Mikola's Rune. And
Oh.
it looks like this. It's
Okay.
like a dude making this symbol.
Yeah, yeah.
So we know this is like potentially the symbol of Mikola's great rune, but
But what
um,
are they going to be called? Sites of grace or like sites of
yeah,
something?
right.
Like who knows what they're going to be called? Because it's not grace. It's where
No, it's
Mikola is
not.
like living in the real world where the greater will doesn't have its tendrils, right? So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
could be
He's
called something
freed
different.
from. Yeah, and here we see a kind of a brief trace. We still haven't seen Mikola's face, so it's still very like,
Hmm. It's like
hidden.
hazy.
They're being very coy about this being Mikola, but obviously it is.
It's clearly
Um,
Mikola. And we're following in Mikola's footsteps, basically, in this
exactly.
DLC.
So
This is
so
the
here we
most
go.
intriguing part of the whole trailer because I'm like, what the
Absolutely.
fuck happened to him? Is he like underwater? Is this like after he's been struck down or something? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Is he falling into the dream?
Hmm.
Is he
Yeah,
becoming Saint Trina here, or is this
that's a lot of chatter online about that. Yeah, it's like, oh, Saint
yeah.
Trina. So that's
Well,
Saint Trina right there. Like that's what I keep hearing,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Well, Saint Trina, is like is not exactly confirmed as Mikola. God, there's so many freaking names. As Mikola, but also like it is kind of like like
mm,
confirmed that, especially because of cut content from the original um
mm,
not beta release, but whatever, the playtest that they did where they had all those sleep quests that no longer existed in the game, they
mm,
took out. Because there used to be all this sleep magic that just kind of gotten taken out from the game almost entirely, and it was all based around Saint Trina and this one NPC that they took out entirely and took out his story entirely.
mm.
But anyways, this is from the previous trailer, and this is, we see it here. This person falling into something that seems like maybe they land right here. I mean,
Could
maybe
be.
not,
Could
but
be, but specifically the line that is said during that part is his
his
fate.
fate.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How, like,
Um,
basically, Mikela, like, whatever Mikela's fate was. We're
yeah,
seeing it right here. So,
totally. And
Mikela is falling, but
mhm,
could be in space, could be gravity stuff because it's purple, could
yep,
be in
absolutely.
water, could just be a representation of falling into sleep forever.
Yep,
Tree is
falling into
Saint
the dream.
all the Saint Trina stuff, like the flowers are like purple, right?
Yep, exactly. You can see
I don't
them
know.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's interesting. We know a detail about this DLC is that we're gonna have to beat Radon to get into this
I
DLC.
forgot that.
Or yeah, and
Mhm.
because I keep questioning as to why, and my only thought process is that he holds the stars in place, right?
Um.
And that thing is, I mean, I don't think there's going to be much Ronnie stuff in this DLC, but it's interesting that her fate was tied to the stars and the movement of the stars, and you talked about gravity magic here and the
Mhm.
purpleness of that whole thing, and there's just, who knows. I feel like there
Mhm.
might be some intertwining there between him, Mikola, letting go of his fate and abandoning that and stuff.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Another theory that I saw speculated, I believe this came from Zeostorm, so shout out to him,
Mhm.
who makes good lore videos for Elden Ring. Mikola we know is like manipulative, like almost like in a sinister way sometimes, is able to make people obey him just through like his sort of will. And I think Zeostorm's speculation was that maybe through Saint Trina and the dream, he was able to kind of coerce Moog to go getting him out of the Halig tree and bringing him here and divesting his body. Like, you know, like in doing that, he was able to divest his body and his fate and get to the land of shadows. It's some deep speculation, but
That's
you know,
interesting, but nothing's off the table.
nothing's off the table. But you know, you wonder where Moog's place comes into this with stealing him from the cocoon
why'd
in
you
the
do
Halig tree.
that? Why'd you do that, you sicko?
So here we see the
That's a cool
tarnished,
shot.
or what's assuming the tarnished, and you know we hear this woman, who I believe was also speaking in the gameplay trailer, and she says like, "Will you follow? We chose to stay and to follow, and will you join us?" Essentially, and so these are some of the people who were highlighted in the original trailer. Like, I think you kind of see this lady here in the background. Maybe not, but she's like, there's some cloaked people. And then there's this guy who's doing the kicks.
Yep. That guy you can see for sure.
Oops, sorry.
All right, you're cool. You can play that trailer again.
So
yeah, I can see that guy. The kicking dude.
Yeah, he seems to be
Kicking
right here in
man.
the
He's
front.
right there, yeah.
I'm not sure if he's... Oh, yeah, this guy throwing the pot, I think maybe is another one of these dudes, maybe.
So I don't think these are like going to be enemies that we fight. I just think that they're representations of us personally. But
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
Who knows?
I think they could either just be any type of tarnish that you are, and therefore, or they might be new NPCs that we meet.
True.
You know what I mean?
It could be. Yeah.
You know, maybe, or
you know what would be hype? You know what would be
Go for
hype
it.
as fuck, bro? Is if we finally meet the person who's been voicing the trailers, but it's because she's been in the Land of Shadow this whole time, and it's one of these tarnish being shown. That'd be crazy.
Absolutely. I think that'd be really cool. I was trying to see if there's anyone else that I saw here. Oh, there's like the samurai person. I forgot about them. I don't see them here.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an interesting. I forgot about this part in the old trailer. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, the dancer.
Yes. So that is pretty much it. That's pretty much where we get to. Let me see. The one more little thing.
I just want to explore these like ruined castles in the background. You know, I can't wait to do that.
I mean, it looks like just some more, you know, you always talk about the flow state that comes in Elden Ring. There's going to be lots of exploration of...
I'm just going to be like... that like a World of Warcraft episode of South Park where like the guy's just sitting there and not moving in a total flow state.
So this is something I went back and rewatched all of this stuff, right? And this is from the intro to the game when it kind of is running through all the different demigods, and something I never really realized here. I always thought that Moog was leading Mikola by the hand.
No.
But no, he's holding him like a young child. Yep. And Mikola is kind of drooped over
he's
here.
Like
and
this.
then in the background,
he's doing one of these.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the background, over Moog's shoulder here, over Moog's left shoulder, is the cocoon from the Halig tree.
Yep.
Yeah. So I never realized that. It's just something it's that going back and looking at it a little more carefully.
You also notice Mikola is like covered in like a strandy kind of spider webby
webby fluid looking stuff. Yeah.
Like you can see Mikola's like left arm kind of just at his side. It's like he's holding Mikola's like legs, almost like
and so almost
right there.
And almost like Mikola can't use them, or like he's malformed in some way.
Like it's almost like the body itself has become like skeletal, but like the head is just a full head of hair.
So my thought maybe being like this is a lot of foresight for them to have, but like maybe this is post, like that maybe that cocoon is already in Moog's palace, and this is post him taking him out of, like maybe this is almost to DLC time, in which like Mikola has divested his body and flesh and everything, and strength
Could be.
and all that kind of stuff.
Could be, or it could be that Mikola was in a cocoon for some reason, and then
Totally.
he took him out of the cocoon and put him in a different cocoon.
Yeah, or something
From
like
one
that.
cocoon to another to cocoon, bro.
Exactly.
I have no idea. It's
But,
gross. It's all gross.
But
You know
either
what I
way,
mean?
disgusting. This whole thing is
I'm
just,
disgusted.
there's a lot of imagery here that's kind of about seemingly like wombs and motherhood and
A lot of vaginas and
we just don't know that
viscera.
much. Yeah, even just you're right. The opening of this is even kind of vaginal.
Yep.
We don't. I'm excited to learn more about Marika because even though like she is ultimately kind of like the main sort of antagonist of the game in some ways, like we really don't know much about her. You know what I mean?
We're about to learn everything about the past. Like basically all
this
this stuff we didn't
shot.
know, we'll learn in this DLC.
Yeah, I think so too, and it's very exciting because I just love uncovering all of this stuff.
And within the next like 5 years, that's after DLC, like that's when we'll know everything because people play it over and over again, and then finally unlock all of the little secrets. Because it's taken that long for people to notice things. You know what I mean? Even from the base game.
No, we're still getting. I mean, even now, there's still Elden Ring lore channels that are finding new shit on the daily. It's like it's wild.
Well, like to support like the whole upside down tree on top of the tree thing. There's like art in one of the levels that shows like at the bottom is the Elden Ring, and then above it is the Erdtree, and then above that is something else that looks like it could be another tree or something. And people are like, "See, that's the Land of Shadow right there." It's shown on the walls and in some of these places. And I'm like, that's speculation. However, I love it.
I love it. One thing about these guys that's interesting, if you can see in this, on their helmet here, there's a tree emblem. But to me, it looks a little bit more...
kind of looks like more like a pine tree something.
Or for me, I thought that maybe it had a little bit more Crucible-esque, like the older tree, You know, like when you see the old emblem of the Elden Ring Rune Farum Azula.
Yeah, like on the armor, basically.
This guy. So like the way that this looks a little bit more.
This is what I was just talking about. Basically, is that same kind of symbol. Yeah, totally. It does look like that, only kind of upside down.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, just the more wildness of the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more like thorny, like almost like a bush than a tree.
Exactly. Yeah, just interesting. I'd like to. I feel like so many of the details that they give in these types of things are in like armor and architecture and stuff.
Yeah,
obviously, like this whole city and area feels very similar to the royal capital, but I don't think it is. You know what I mean? I think it's no. It's
no, it's like this is like I still believe the Land of Shadow is a different place. It's not the Lands Between.
I think
it's like
I think it's this.
It's the place where the world used to be, or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Before they essentially like created the world that they were in, or at least changed a different part of the world. Yeah. But that's just my thoughts.
It feels like maybe it was this place right here.
Oh yeah. I mean, even at the end of this trailer, or end of that last trailer, and you see like the ruined stuff in the background where the Tarnished are like standing. I think that's what you're looking at in this trailer. Yeah,
it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff.
Cool.
This is interesting.
We'll see.
This is where I saw those cool strands on the hammer, and I was like, "Whoa, there's like golden strands."
They're really into these strands, dude.
I like these strands. Death Stranding. This is confirmed. This is a strand game. You know what I mean?
This is strand-based gameplay, guys.
It's a strand-based game. We're already playing. playing Shadow of the Erdtree. You don't even know.
Neon Gaming Dimension. Yeah, this is the ARG. This is the ARG phase of the Elden Ring DLC.
Well, that
Good
was
shit.
a whole lot of speculation. Thanks for hanging out and nerding out with us. We are Neon Gaming Dimension. This is the gaming section of Neon Pocket Dimension, so where you can come for everything, fully nerding out on games. But also, if you like this and you like us and you like our goofy selves, check out Neon Pocket Dimension streams Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/Neon Pocket Dimension, and then comes out as a YouTube video on Fridays. So check that out. We'll have an episode for you tomorrow. And then we got lots of Neon Gaming Dimension coverage coming up as we hit all the Summer Games Fest stuff. So we'll have some predictions episodes. We're going to try and do as many live reacts as possible. Some of the gaming showcases are like midday and we all have other jobs, so we can only do what we can. But then we'll have recaps podcasts for probably all of the major showcases and then some of the smaller ones as well.
Time.
So stay tuned for all that. It's going to be a fun summer and lots of good content coming out. So give us a like, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at NPD Squad, where you can see all of the NPD and NGD stuff. And check out Jacob's other excellent project. What started it all, which is Odd Valley Studios, and the Odd Valley Tavern podcast, which is a fun drinking show as well. Lots of good stuff for you.
We're going to do a new episode first week of June, I think.
Hell yeah.
May 31st, actually, I think. Next
Fuck
Friday.
yeah.
Not this Friday, but next Friday. Also, don't forget, comment below. Let us know what you think is happening in this crazy trailer and all that fun stuff. Are you stoked for it? Are you going to buy it? June 21st can't come any sooner. School us on some shit too, hit us up in the comments, man. We read them and we reply, and we appreciate you watching and hanging out. Oh, and look, there's Tunic. Nice.
There's Tunic. 24-minute run, speed run. Okay, good autoplay. Thank you very much. But yeah, this has been really fun, and we're just looking forward to this game, and hopefully we'll see some sweet Elden Ring streams from us in the future. So,
yes, sir.
Tuned.
All right.
Cool.
It's been a good time.
Thanks so much. Let's get out of here.
Go out there and touch grace. See you later.
Together.